Hello everyone, my name's Maddie of The Girly Geek and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. I am in my final year of university and am preparing to start my next semester next week, and it's the perfect time for me to get everything in order. So I thought I would share with you guys what I do to get organized and set myself off on the right foot to have a successful semester. I really hope you enjoy this video. I'm sharing a bunch of my favorite tips and tricks, things I've been doing for the past couple years in my university career. So I really hope you find them useful. Please let me know if you do in the comments, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Very first thing I like to do is clean up my space and do a quick reset. I wipe down and dust my desk, put everything in its place, and then keep it clean for the rest of the semester, or try to, which usually involves tidying it up every day, but that just helps keep my mind at ease, lessen my stress, and help me get things done in a quicker fashion. The second thing I do is organize and declutter my devices. So I start off by cleaning my desktop and my files. I back up anything from previous semesters onto my Google Drive or my external hard drive, and then organize everything into their separate folders. And then I also go ahead and create new folders for the new semester and any of the classes I'm taking, both on my desktop for where I usually do assignments, and also on my Google Drive, just because that's where I usually do all my notes, because I can switch interchangeably between my iPad and my laptop. I then go ahead and set up my digital notebooks on my iPad, where I use GoodNotes. I also use these templates that I buy off Etsy that people have designed to look like notebooks, and I separate all of my things into separate categories for my work. I like this layout because, just as a physical kind of lecture notebook, it has different sections, as you can see I'm going through here, and I label each of them and allocate a different kind of work to them that I use throughout the semester to put in all my notes that I take by hand. Thirdly, I like to make sure that I read up on all of the classes that I will be taking for the semester, so that I kind of know the gist of everything that's going to happen and I don't get taken by surprise by anything. No assessments sneaking up on me or anything like that, because that is my ultimate nightmare. Once I've read through everything, as you can see, I'm writing down a couple of notes. I have a section in my digital notebooks that I call a unit overview, where I basically write down all the basics or the bones of the classes I'm taking. So I write down the contact information for the tutors and lecturers, the delivery style of the class, any textbooks that we're using, things like that. I also do a quick brief overview of the assessment tasks and things like that, as you can see on the screen now. So it's basically like all the essential information in one place so that I can visualize it and access it whenever I need to. Then, once a bit more information is provided on the class's weekly topics, I go ahead and make a unit schedule, which is basically a week-by-week summary of all the readings, topics, and of course coursework that we'll be covering each week. So I basically make a little table with separate headings that I can go back to at any time during the semester to access to know what I have to do each week. Again, this helps me stay on top of things and make sure there are no surprises and I get all my work done on time. So this is what the schedule ends up looking like. I only did the first few weeks of the semester, as that was what is available, but you can see that in the top I have the week, the topic of study for that week, the readings that are required, and also some coursework and tasks that will occur in each of those weeks. I've been doing these schedules for a while now, and they are an absolute lifesaver. The fourth thing I like to do is, no surprise, plan. You should know by now I'm a big planner, so the first thing I like to do is go through my Google Calendar and input all the important dates for the semester. That includes putting in the breaks, any holidays, and then also all the assessment tasks that I went through in my unit schedule as well. So I basically just look at that, put everything in the due dates, or also set reminders for like a week before things are due, and then I plop them all in so I can visualize everything. I also make sure to schedule in my classes that I have to attend, just so I can visualize everything and know when I have time to do work. I am a big fan of planning because it helps alleviate a lot of the stress and anxiety involved with university life. There's already a lot of anxiety around, will I do well? Will I pass this assessment? But at least when you have things planned out, you won't be one of those people who accidentally realizes they have an assessment due tomorrow. That's one of my biggest fears. In terms of planning ahead, I also like to do my planner spread for the first week ahead of time so that I can start off on the right foot. During the semester, I do like to do my planner spreads ahead, preferably in the week before it actually is, just so I can start to write down the tasks and things that I am anticipating to complete, and that helps me stay on top of things. So I obviously pencil everything into my Google Calendar way ahead of time, and once I know that things are more concrete, they can go into my Happy Planner as well. So here is my completed spread for the first week back next week. As you can see, I've just penciled in the essentials and the classes that I will be attending for the first week, which is not all of them. So I'm basically ready to go. Another thing I like to do is make sure I make good copies of my timetable and scheduled classes and make them visible. So have them in multiple spaces that I can see and access whenever I need to know. I like to print out 2 copies, one that I stick up on my vision board over my desk so I can see that basically whenever I'm working, and then another to place in the front page of my planner. And I also send a digital copy over to my iPhone and keep it in my favorites for when I'm on the go. That is especially useful as I do often forget the locations of my classes, especially at the beginning of a new semester. The last thing I like to do is prepare all my essentials, so the things I carry with me every day. I like to make sure that I wash my backpack and that it is nice and clean. Here she is after a fresh wash, looking nice and clean again. Trust me, I'll show you the before picture, it was not nice. It was just looking very grey and had a lot of small dirt and scratch marks on it, and the back was just as bad. So here I am just getting it back to its usual self, putting all my pins back on, and then I am also putting my pencil case together. I'm just packing all of the essentials, the things I usually carry with me, and also making sure that they're clean, that there's no pens that are leaking or anything like that. Then for any of my other essentials, I obviously like to make sure that they are clean before I put them in my bag, and because I do use them so often, I don't want to be using dirty items and then say touching my face or something like that. So I usually give them a wipe down with an antibacterial wipe, and then I like to pack my bag in advance if I can. So here I am putting in all my essentials, which is my iPad Pro and my Apple Pencil when I'm not doing assignments, because then I usually bring my MacBook, and then my pencil case, my little toiletries pouch, my water bottle, my glasses, and my wallet. And then I also make sure in the front pocket that I have some of my other essentials, such as a charger for those long days in class. And then I make sure I have my keys, some hand sanitizer spray, and my AirPods, and I'm good to go. There's obviously last minute things that I pack, such as my lunch and my coffee in the mornings, but I like to make sure that everything's ready and it's home for when I need to use it. So that is it from me for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it and found something useful in it. Let me know if you do and what tips and tricks you'll be utilizing either your upcoming semester or somewhere in the future. And I'd also love to hear if there's anything else you'd like to see from me, because I plan on uploading again very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.